So Mega Man 9 is here in all of its 8-bit glory. We all know about the game's somewhat controversial design, but how does it live up to the classics? Mega Man 9 is patterned after Mega Man 2, the game which most fans of the Blue Bomber regard as the pinnacle of the series. This means that the game doesn't just look old school, it also forgoes some later additions to the gameplay. Gone are the Slide and Charged Mega Buster, although Rush and some of Mega Man's other sidekicks are still around. The game definitely tries to stay faithful to its source material. Personally, I somewhat miss the Slide, but the developers definitely showed wisdom in getting rid of the Charged Mega Buster. When the Charge Shot was introduced in Mega Man 4, enemies were simply given more hit points to compensate, and the result was that later Mega Man games became a more slow-paced affair. Mega Man 9 keeps the quicker pace of the most beloved games in the series. This game also doesn't pull any punches when it comes to difficulty. Modern gamers who have been pampered by the mostly easy games that companies pump out these days are in for a surprise. Even retro junkies are going to need to brush up their skills, as Mega Man 9 isn't just NES hard, it's full-on harder than any Mega Man game before. And yes, that includes Mega Man 1. The game does make some concessions in the form of an in-game shop. Lesser players can always buy up a bunch of energy tanks and try and power their way through. But rest assured, when you're starting off, you're probably going to die repeatedly until you really learn the ropes. Each death is almost always your own fault, and with a little practice, you'll find yourself breezing through levels that you used to struggle with. The level design itself is probably the most polished we've ever seen from a Mega Man game. Each stage presents unique challenges, and they're all crafted in a way that really demand you to have expert control over your character. The Robot Masters are also crafted after the fashion of Mega Man 2 and 3. They're difficult, but not impossible to take down with the Mega Buster. However, bring the right weapon to the battle and you'll make quick work of them. In the later Mega Man games, the new weapons you gained from each Robot Master became increasingly pointless. Thankfully, this is one of the biggest improvements in Mega Man 9. Almost all of your weapons are genuinely useful, both in taking down the bad guys and in navigating levels that are thoughtfully designed with your arsenal in mind. Many weapons also have multiple abilities, such as Concrete Man's shots freezing lava, or your Hornets fetching items for you. There's just a ton of thought put into polishing the classic Mega Man formula. About the only downside in the basic design may not be a downside at all for some. Mega Man 2 and 3 felt like they spaced the harder sections of levels in between easier stretches, giving the player a bit of a breather. In contrast, Mega Man 9 feels like it almost never lets up. As such, the game's relentless pacing may wear you out a bit more than the classic titles. If you're a sucker for punishment, there's a ton of in-game achievements to accomplish. Some of these, such as going through the entire game without getting hit once, are only for the hardest of the hardcore. Others are a bit more forgiving, but regardless, you're going to want to replay this game. Like the recent Bionic Commando Rearmed, Mega Man 9 rewards players with a sense of achievement that you simply don't get from many modern games. It's just plain fun to get that godlike sensation of really mastering the way the game works. Obviously, the game's presentation mimics the 8-bit style perfectly, with even an optional screen flicker. Mega Man 9 is a perfect example of substance over style. In my case, though, I have to confess that I love the charm of the 8-bit sprites, and really wouldn't have it any other way. The soundtrack is also flat-out awesome, among the best of any Mega Man game. Altogether, Mega Man 9 stands right up there with Mega Man 2 and 3, and in some ways even surpasses them. It's a game crafted with a clear understanding of what made the classics so great, as well as what went wrong with later games in the series. So if you enjoy old-school 2D platforming, or basically consider yourself a gamer at all, you honestly can't go wrong with Mega Man 9.